We'll come back. We'll start metabolic disorders. The topics in this section: protein metabolic disorders, for example, organic acidemia, urea cycle disorders, fatty acid oxidation defects, carbohydrate disorder like galactosemia, lysosomal disorders, peroxisomal disorders, disorders of porphyrin metabolism, disorders of purine metabolism, cholesterol disorders, Menkes disease, and we'll conclude this section with specific orders in metabolic diseases. Clinical case scenario: a 2-day-old boy with poor feeding, vomiting, lethargy, and seizure. Ammonia level is 2000, very elevated, and normal on ANGAB. What is the most likely diagnosis? Citrullinemia, homocystinuria, glutaric aciduria type 1, or propionic acidemia? The answer: citrullinemia, which is a type of urea cycle disorder associated with very high ammonia level and normal iron ANGAB. By the end of this presentation, you will be comfortable answering all metabolic questions. Three major classifications of metabolic disorders: protein, fat, and carbohydrate. Metabolic disorders of fat: fatty acid oxidation disorders, sugar, glucose, galactose, and fructose metabolic disorders. Protein metabolic disorders are classified into three major categories. First one, organic acidemia. We'll mention the most common examples: propionic acidemia, methylmalonic acidemia, glutaric acidemia, amino acidopathy, maple syrup urine disease, phenylketonuria, homocystinuria. Urea cycle disorders: OTC, citrullinemia, argininosuccinic aciduria. To possible metabolic disorder. The infant will be born normal at birth, then progressively becomes sick and worse as the feeding progresses more. May present hours to years after birth, depending on the type of underlying metabolic disorders. Clinical approach to a newborn with suspected inborn errors of metabolism. If you have a newborn with poor feeding, vomiting, lethargy, seizure, or coma, not responding to IV glucose or calcium, sepsis is the most common cause of this presentation. Order CBC, CRP, CMP, blood culture. It is important to consider metabolic disorders, even if they are rare but the treatment is different. Order ammonia level and ABG. If the ammonia level is very high, with normal ANGAB and respiratory alkalosis, the most likely cause is urea cycle disorder. If the ammonia level is normal or high, plus high ANGAB or metabolic acidosis, the most likely cause is organic acidemia. If normal ammonia and normal ANGAB, the most likely cause is amino acidopathy or galactosemia. General management of all cases of metabolic disorders: ABC, secure airway, breathing and circulation, IV access. Next step, NPO, nothing by mouth, and IV dextrose. IV dextrose is critical, is a lifesaver, and you will never go wrong giving IV dextrose to any infant or newborn with suspected metabolic disorders. Hyperammonemia therapy is indicated when urea cycle defects cause encephalopathy or in cases of encephalopathy. Treatments include ammonol. Ammonol must be given via central line. Arginine can be mixed with ammonol. If the ammonia level is more than or equal 5 to 600 before administering ammonol, or if more than or equal 300 after giving ammonol, consider hemodialysis. Metabolic acidosis or elevated ANGAB occurs with many inborn errors of metabolism and is a hallmark of organic acidemia. Hypoglycemia may be associated with undiagnosed fatty acid oxidation defect or endocrine disorder. Again, remember, ammonia level is the highest in the urea cycle defects, usually more than 1000. In organic acidemia, if the ammonia level is elevated, rarely exceeds more than 500. In fatty acid oxidation defects, usually the ammonia level is less than 250 and also associated with hypoglycemia without ketosis. Order for all cases with suspected metabolic disorders: urine organic acid, plasma amino acid, and DNA testing. Protein disorders with acidemia associated with high ammonia level and high ANGAB. Examples: isovaleric acidemia, propionic acidemia, methylmalonic acidemia, glutaric acidemia type 1. We'll start first with organic acidemia. Keywords to all cases of organic acidemia: normal or high ammonia level, high ANGAB, metabolic acidosis, neutropenia. 9-month-old boy presents with vomiting and lethargy. His labs are normal except metabolic acidosis with keto Phenylketonuria. His physical examination is unremarkable except general weakness and odor of sweaty feet. What is the most likely diagnosis? Isovaleric acidemia, propionic acidemia, methylmalonic acidemia, maple syrup urine disease. The answer, isovaleric acidemia. The key words here, metabolic acidosis and ketonuria plus odor of sweaty feet. Sweaty feet odor is a key word for isovaleric acidemia. Isovaleric acidemia because of deficiency in isovaleric acid CoA dehydrogenase enzyme. This will lead to the accumulation and the elevation of leucine amino acid. Classic presentation of isovaleric acidemia, vomiting, metabolic acidosis, pancytopenia, encephalopathy, and the unique sweaty feet odor. Diagnosis of isovaleric acidemia, lab will be significant for metabolic acidosis, elevated ammonia level, usually moderate. Urine organic acids will be positive for isovaleric glycine and the 3-hydroxy isovaleric acid, elevated C5-acylcarnitine, and confirm with DNA testing. 15-month-old girl previously healthy presents with acute onset of weakness, lethargy, decreased responsiveness, and dilated pupils. Vital signs showed respiratory rate 45, pulse 145, blood pressure 100/59. Labs, sodium 140, potassium 4, chloride 98, bicarb is 5, which is low, BUN is 22, glucose 45, and the ammonia is high 250. ABG, the pH is 7.02, is low. The pulmonary CO2 is 19, the oxygen is 123, and bicarb is 4.8. What is the most likely cause? Organic acidemia, urea cycle defect, fatty acid oxidation, glycogen storage disease. Correct answer, organic acidemia. Like the previous case, this girl is presenting with acute onset of weakness, lethargy, decreased responsiveness, and dilated pupils. Her laboratories are significant for metabolic acidosis, hypoglycemia, and a high ammonia level. If you calculate the anion gap, you have 140 plus 4, which is sodium plus potassium, 98 plus 5, which is the chloride plus the bicarb, and the result is 41. This is very high anion gap. So these are signs of organic acidemia: high anion gap, metabolic acidosis, and high ammonia level. Organic acidemia. We have two important conditions of organic acidemia: propionic acidemia, methylmalonic acidemia. Both will present with metabolic acidosis, high urine ketones, high anion gap, mild to moderate hyperammonemia. When you have a condition with suspected organic acidemia, review the newborn screen, order urine organic acids, plasma amino acids, plasma acylcarnitine, treat immediately without waiting for any result with dextrose 10% with salt, correct metabolic acidosis, no protein, intravenous lipid emulsions. Dialysis may be needed in sick neonates. To make the difference between propionic acidemia and methylmalonic acidemia, of course, you have to have the lab results. The presentation, both of them will present with metabolic acidosis and ketonuria. The defect in propionic acidemia is propionyl CoA carboxylase. In methylmalonic, from the name methylmalonyl CoA mutase. And urine organic acid will show elevated hydroxypropionic acid and methyl citrate. In methylmalonic, from the name, will be elevated methylmalonic acid and methyl citrate. In newborn screen, you will see elevated C3 acylcarnitine in both. In plasma amino acids, may show elevated glycine, and in methylmalonic acidemia will show elevated plasma alanine and glycine. Another high-yield case, a child presenting with macrocephaly, retinal hemorrhage, subdural hematoma. So remember the key words: retinal hemorrhage and subdural hematoma in a normally developing child. Until the child is having febrile illness or metabolic stressor, they start to present with these symptoms: hypotonia, dystonia, retinal hemorrhage, and subdural hematoma. This can be mistaken for child abuse. What is the most likely cause? Glutaric aciduria type 1. Glutaric acidemia type 1. This is because of deficiency or defect in enzyme called Glutaric CoA dehydrogenase. This enzyme is very important for breaking down certain amino acids like lysine and tryptophan. This can cause organic acidemia or cerebral organic acidemia. The byproducts or toxic byproducts will concentrate mostly in the brain. The child usually or the infant appears normal at birth and then later on may develop macrocephaly. With any stressor, like acute febrile illness, the child will develop encephalopathy and this will lead to dystonia and movement disorder. Also can present with subdural hematoma and commonly mistaken with a child abuse. This disease is difficult to diagnose because the infant appears normal at birth, commonly have normal metabolites except when they have catabolic crisis. This can cause basal ganglia injury. And in urine organic acid, you will see high urine glutaric acid. The treatment will include low protein diet and the prevention of catabolic crises. You have a child presenting with intractable seizures, hypotonia, ataxia, developmental delays, vision problems, hearing loss, alopecia, and skin rash. What is the most likely diagnosis? Are all keywords for biotinidase deficiency. Is because of deficiency in holocarboxylase synthetase or biotinidase. Suspect biotinidase deficiency in any child with intractable seizures, hypotonia, ataxia, developmental delays, vision problems, hearing loss, alopecia, and skin rash. Diagnosis: urine organic acid will show increased 3-methylcorotonil glycine and 3-hydroxyisovaleric acid and confirm with DNA testing. Treatment is oral biotin. Now to amino acidopathies like maple syrup urine disease, phenylketonuria, homocystinuria, alkaptonuria, non-ketotic hyperglycemia. Newborn with caramel-like odor, bittersweet, sweet smell concentrated in urine and earwax, feeding difficulty, irregular respiration, loss of motor reflex, severe seizures, obstetricous rigidity, and unfortunately died few days after birth from cerebral edema. What is the most likely diagnosis? Urea cycle defect, propionic acidemia, maple syrup urine disease, or galactosemia? The correct answer: maple syrup urine disease. Maple syrup urine disease is because of deficiency of branched chain ketoacid dehydrogenase. This enzyme is very important to break down amino acids such as leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And as the baby continue to feed, breastfeeding or formula feeding, these amino acids and toxic byproducts will accumulate and will cause encephalopathy. And the baby will present with poor feeding, vomiting, lethargy, seizures, and coma or even death. Early diagnosis is critical, and dietary intervention is critical to prevent complications. Presentation of maple syrup urine disease: the urine may smell like maple syrup, caramel-like odor, or bittersweet. Also may be described as a sweet smell concentrated in urine and the earwax. Very important to know that these smells initially may be absent. Then 3 to 5 days later, when the baby start to feed more and the accumulation of toxic byproducts, baby will present with feeding difficulty, vomiting, irregular respiration, loss of motor reflex, severe seizures, and death from cerebral edema without treatment. How to make the diagnosis of maple syrup urine disease? Detection of L-alloleucine is the most sensitive marker for maple syrup urine disease, and DNA testing. Management of maple syrup urine disease: dietary control of leucine, isoleucine, and valine. You have an infant with fair skin, fair hair, and blue eyes, eye abnormalities, light sensitivity, intellectual disability, progressive developmental delay, microcephaly, eczema, musty or mousy odor is a key word, very important, and epilepsy. What is the most likely cause? Phenylketonuria or PKU is because of deficiency of phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. This enzyme is very important to convert phenylalanine to tyrosine, which is very important for making brain neurotransmitters. Accumulation of phenylalanine will affect the IQ of the child. Presentation of phenylketonuria: fair skin and fair hair comparing to the rest of the family, eczema or atopic dermatitis, light sensitivity, and hair loss. If left untreated, will cause intellectual disability, musty or mousy odor is a key word, epilepsy or seizures, eye abnormalities, for example, hypopigmentation. Luckily now, most of the cases of phenylketonuria are detected in newborn screen. Confirm the diagnosis with plasma amino acids and DNA testing. Plasma amino acids will show elevated phenylalanine levels. Cases untreated or severe cases, brain MRI will show areas of demyelination and volume loss. Management of phenylketonuria is a high yield As soon as possible after birth, if you receive a notice for newborn screening that the infant is suspected to have PKU, it is important to start immediately without waiting for test confirmation. Phenylalanine-free medical formula, low protein diet. Infants with PKU should be partially breastfed. Why? Because breast milk is low in phenylalanine, while supplementing with a measured amount of a phenylalanine-free commercial formula. Management of phenylketonuria in older children, they should be referred to a nutritionist who is familiar with these cases. Very important to avoid dietary foods and soft drinks containing aspartame. Aspartame is phenylalanine plus aspartic acid. Also avoid phenylalanine containing foods, for example meats, chicken, and many fish, breads, pastas, and nuts. Women with PKU should have preconception counseling. Phenylalanine concentration control before and throughout the pregnancy. Why? Because this can affect the fetus and can cause maternal PKU syndrome, presenting with dysmorphic facial features, microcephaly, IOGR, congenital heart disease, intellectual or learning disabilities. Another disorder in amino acid metabolism, tall stature, intellectual disability, the IQ is down, ectopia lentis, the lens is down, osteoporosis, recurrent thrombosis. Homocystinuria. Homocystinuria is due to deficiency of cystathionine beta synthase enzyme. It is autosomal recessive. Understanding this slide will make it easy for you to understand the investigations, lab results, and management of homocystinuria. Homocystinuria is because of deficiency of CBS, cystathionine beta synthase. This enzyme is very important to convert homocysteine to cysteine with help of cofactor B6 pyridoxine. And lack of this enzyme will lead to accumulation of homocysteine. And when homocysteine is elevated, will be excessively methylated and converted to methionine, and this will lead to elevation of methionine. That's why methionine will be very elevated in homocystinuria. Also, this will affect the metabolism of B12 and will lead to megaloblastic anemia. Pyridoxine is used for treatment because it's a cofactor in the helping the CBS to convert homocysteine to cysteine. Diagnosis of homocystinuria increased total plasma homocysteine level and elevated serum methionine in plasma amino acid test and in newborn screen as well, megaloblastic anemia and DNA testing. Management of homocystinuria. 50% of patients responded to large doses of pyridoxine, folic acid, cobalamin, and betaine with concurrent methionine restriction. Whenever we mention homocystinuria, it is important to remember and to remind you with the difference between Marfan and homocystinuria. Marfan is autosomal dominant, homocystinuria is autosomal recessive. IQ is normal in Marfan is up and IQ is down or low in homocystinuria. Lens is displaced up in Marfan syndrome, same like the IQ, and lens is displaced down in homocystinuria, same like the IQ.
Hello everyone, my name is Osama Naga. I'm very excited to let you know we are starting the 3 months live course on July 19. It's a good chance to join us and for good preparation for the pediatric board exam. The live course will include handout for all subjects, multiple choice questions from the question bank for each subject, more than 2,000 questions with explanation and board pearls. It is not too late to join us. Join us and work hard and pass your board exam with confidence. We'll see you there. Thank you.